I have very little experience interacting with parents. However, I just recently got the opportunity to attend a retention meeting in regards to a child who is potentially getting held back for missing an incredible amount of school and completing little to no assignments for the entire virtual year. This was a very educational experience for me, and I got to witness many different things and layers during this meeting. One thing was the parent experiencing the loss of a job. The second was the parent experiencing the effects of the pandemic and the struggles that were associated with that and how it affected the child and the inability to attend school online. The parent was very emotional during this meeting, which makes me believe that she was in the depression stage of grief. I think she is in the depression stage because of the whole situation. However, I believe that the parent was starting to transition into the acceptance stage of grieving. I believe this because she was very cooperative with the teacher and administration during this time. The parent proceeded to accept the consequences that was given as a result of the actions. She explained how this was a hard year for her and her family, and that it was difficult for the child and it was difficult for her and the child, and that's why the child never logged on to the class meetings. She did not argue or get angry during any part of the meeting, and that's why I believe she's in the acceptance stage for the situation that she's currently in. During this experience, the first active listening skill is focusing fully on the speaker. One way this was done during the meeting was all parties were making direct eye contact with whoever was speaking. The people who attended were listening and taking notes on what was being said during the meeting. The second listening skill is to avoid interruption. The parent was given the opportunity to fully explain the situation to the teachers and administration. Another thing that was done during this meeting was all the parties involved did not jump to conclusions and allowed the person talking to formulate their own thoughts and ideas. This will allow the person who is talking to feel acknowledged. The third thing to avoid is seeming judgmental. One strategy is not expressing your own opinion and allowing the others to speak their minds. Another strategy is understanding that others have their own opinions and to accept that it is okay and you don't need to correct or redirect them. I feel this was present in this meeting. There was respect among all parties that attended, and I feel this involved during this experience. Everyone kept their opinions to themselves, and this allowed for a very civil meeting. The fourth active listening skill is showing your interest. This is smiling and nodding during the conversation. Also, having good posture is open and inviting. To respond with yes, right, and actually is another good strategy to use. Really connecting with what other people are trying to say. There was little to no smiling during this meeting because of how serious the situation was, and because everyone was wearing a mask. However, there was nodding and saying the words like yes from the participants in the meeting. There were many conflict resolutions and problem-solving strategies that were present during this meeting. One conflict resolution strategy that could and probably was used during this meeting was pausing and taking a breath. This meeting was serious and had the potential of escalating quickly. I feel a lot of people in the meeting room used the strategy of taking a breath before speaking so they didn't say the wrong thing at the wrong time. Another conflict resolution strategy that I feel was used was the teacher and administration not jumping to any conclusions during the meeting. This allowed the parent to explain the entire situation and went on to the problem-solving strategies from there. One thing that was done as a problem-solving strategy was identifying the problem. This was missing too much school and not doing many school assignments for the first, second, and third quarter. Before the meeting, my cooperating teacher printed out the attendance report card for all 3 quarters, and all the missing assignments for the entire year thus far. This is so the parent and student could see how drastic and serious this situation was. After they used this problem-solving strategy of generating potential solutions, both the child and the parent had to write down both short-term and long-term goals that were going to be set in place for the rest of the year. The solutions that were implemented had to be practical and achievable to the situation. Another thing that was talked about during this meeting was how serious the situation was and what could happen if the goals were not met or implemented.